Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. We appreciate your attendance and participation today on this webinar with our partner Nuvestack on how to grow recurring revenue with desktop as a service. We have two excellent speakers from Nuvestack this morning. We've got Tony Harvey, who's the VP of Business Development and Alliances, and we've also got Ivan Escobar, who's the VP of Technical Sales. These two guys will take you through the bulk of the presentation momentarily. A few issues of housekeeping. First of all, we are going to have some polling questions happening throughout the presentation. So when we get to a polling slide, we very much appreciate your participation in the polls. So please make a vote on one of the answers, and we'll go ahead and share the results with everybody in attendance. Also, if you have questions for the presenters, please ask those via the chat window within your ReadyTalk interface, and we'll be able to take those at the end. And then finally, this entire webinar is being recorded, and it will be available on the Huawei partner website and may also be made available through the Nuvestack website as well if they choose to do so. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Just first a quick intro on Huawei for those of you that aren't very familiar with the company. Huawei is a global powerhouse in infrastructure, and particularly a $46 billion company as of 2014. So it's a very large global infrastructure provider, and we'll go over some of the areas of product that they sell. But I think that really one of the important things to note is that 45 of the world's top 50 telecom operators have chosen Huawei gear to run their environment, and those are very demanding environments that require very high reliability and high quality. Huawei also has over 150,000 global employees. So it's a massive employer of engineers and various other technology people. In the U.S., our headquarters was established in 2001 in Plano, Texas, and we have more than 1,700 employees in the United States. So just a very big, powerful company globally, and also with a significant presence in the U.S. In terms of innovation, one of the areas where Huawei invests significantly is in their broad product portfolio. We have over 70,000 engineers worldwide, 23 R&D centers, and 25 joint innovation centers. And just in terms of an investment in R&D, the latest figures that were released from 2014, 14.3% of the company's revenue is focused on R&D. That's over $6.6 billion in 2014 alone. In addition, Huawei invests a lot of time in energy and standards organizations, and we're very much a member of open standards committees and driving innovation across a wide variety of different technology areas. We have over 50,000 patent applications worldwide. So again, just a huge investment in innovation and lots of different things coming out. The final slide, kind of just setting the stage, is giving you a feel of the breadth of Huawei's product portfolio. We have telepresence and video conferencing solutions. We have a wide variety of infrastructure solutions for campus and branch environments, including networking, various wireless, and also ELTE for broadband networking. And then in the data center, we have data center switching products. We have a portfolio of storage products and also servers. So it's just pretty much, if you can think of a solution that fits into kind of infrastructure type areas within the data center and the campus and the network area, Huawei is going to have top of presence in those areas. And from a vertical market perspective, it's pretty much a focus on the retail, the education, both K through 12 and higher education, as well as manufacturing, and just general large enterprises are the companies that we're targeting and the companies using our products. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over, I think, first to Tony Harvey, who's going to start to tell you a bit about Nuvestack and in particular desktop as a service. Tony, take it away.
Thanks, Nick. And again, just to reiterate Nick's point, we're very excited to partner with Huawei. We've done a number of marketing and sales initiatives, and to this point, very, very successful. This particular website is, just so that we are clear, it's extremely partner-focused. Our sales strategy is 100% channel-related. So if you are a independent agent, a reseller, or a value-added reseller, we have a partner program structure around you. So everything that we present here in this particular slide deck will be about the business opportunity, and as well as the opportunity that we would present for a hosted desktop for your customers. So as we listen up, we're listening with really two different ears for an end user perspective as well as where we as Nuvestack would fit into your partner perspective. So to pick up where Nick sort of tossed it over, Nuvestack has been in business roughly about 2 years. Before we were Nuvestack, the number of us that worked together, research and development in the virtual desktop or the virtual server or software space, and we've decided to really tackle some of the bigger issues of virtual desktops and hosting those virtual desktops that are in the market. When you're looking at a virtual desktop customer, we understand, because we have been doing this for so long, there are a number of key issues to consider. And we all understand that virtual desktop can eliminate a lot of complexity around managing your desktops. We understand the benefit of virtualization. But the problem has been some of these proof of concepts never come to fruition for a number of different reasons. And Nuvestack's core focus through our market strategy and our partners is to eliminate all of those complexities and all those issues that are stopping you from delivering a virtual desktop to your customers, and more importantly, a hosted virtual desktop in what we feel is the more supreme way on a as-a-service monthly subscription model. So as we're listening to that, understand, Nuvestack, we understand we didn't create this market, so to speak, but we have years of expertise in the market in specific virtualization on the desktop. Our subscription model will be one of the most flexible models out there on the market, which is for you as a partner as well as for your customers. Our belief is simple. If you have to think about it too much, or if you have to, as a customer, have hands-on, it is not a true as-a-service product. So Nuvestack is a true subscription model, desktop as-a-service product, end-to-end solution for you as well as for your customers. Our management tools are second to none. We have a high-level staff, and what we're developing every week, every month, every quarter for you are the most robust management tools for this virtual desktop infrastructure, although it's being hosted either privately on-premise or, as we say, publicly on-site in our cloud. We can make sure to provide you with the tools for your customers to have the tools to have a fully managed, fully hosted virtual desktop with 100% end-to-end support. We're going to take the guesswork out of the desktop management and offer you a fully baked, fully hosted solution where now your end users will never have to wonder, who do I go to if something goes wrong for my desktop? This is from the end user on the desk perspective, meaning my printer isn't working or I can't find my desktop icon, all the way to the back end of something that may be infrastructurally wrong in one of our cloud data centers. We will make sure that we have the marketing support, the provisional support, and the ongoing management support of those desktops from end to end. Now, looking at your customers, or whether internal for you offering a cloud services or for your customers adopting it, we understand there are a number of challenges. Now, for you as a partner, you're always interested in finding new products for your customers. Desktop as a service, or this hosted desktop, or virtual, whatever you may call it. We understand it's a hot topic. The market is headed there. If you look at some of the industry professionals, Gartner, for example, they understand this is where the industry is headed. There are a few things slowing that process down, but for the most part, Nuvestack wants to continue to be at the forefront of the research and development of what will become a 100% hosted market for desktops. Your challenge as a partner will always be losing some of your potential existing customers to providers that offer a service like this. For you as a reseller, for you as a cloud provider, we're going to make sure that you have all the tools necessary to stay as competitive as possible in the market as this market starts to shift from a more on-premise, hardware-based solution to the cloud-based platforms. So losing customers to an Amazon or to a Microsoft Azure or some of the others you may know will no longer be a concern for you as long as if you partner with Nuvestack. As a business owner, as an independent agent, as a partner, you're always looking for monthly subscription as a service, revenue stream. That's a challenge for any partner and provider in this day and age, because that's where the market is going. If you do not have an as-a-subscription, as-a-service revenue model today, I'll tell you right now, you're behind the times. About 70% of our partners have already adopted that or are looking to adopt that by Q4 of this year, because they understand in 2016 and beyond, that's where customers want to spend their money. That's how they want to spend, making it more of an OpEx model as opposed to a hardware-based CapEx model. So let's stay ahead of that, and Nuvestack can be a part of that. With that said, we'd like to learn a little bit more about what you're doing and some of your questions. So I should, Nick, why don't we go to polling question 1?
Sounds good. So we'd love everybody to participate and answer one of these choices in the poll. So the first question is, which of these challenges applies most to you and your business? Is it trying to find new products that you can sell to your customers? Is it competition that you're finding against some of the existing cloud providers like Amazon, AWS, Azure, et cetera? Or is it just finding more as-a-service type products? We're talking about desktop as a service here today. There's software as a service, et cetera. So which of those is the biggest challenge that you're finding today? Go ahead and vote, and then we'll take a look at the different results. So we'll give you guys just about 30 seconds to vote, and while you're doing that, just want to remind you that if you have questions, we're actually getting a few questions already coming in through the chat window, but if you have questions, please submit those via the Q&A area on the ReadyTalk interface, and you'll be able to get those questions answered at the end. So go ahead and vote. We're going to give just another couple seconds for people to cast their vote, and then we'll continue on. Okay, well, Tony, what it looks like so far is that competing against some of the existing cloud providers is the number one challenge. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that as you go forward. Let's go ahead and continue on.
So this is Ivan. Desktop as a service. As mentioned earlier, the challenge that a lot of the resellers are starting to confront is moving into some type of cloud offering. The desktop as a service assists in making that offering. The setup that we have today is 100% with Huawei hardware. It is our special configuration that allows us to have a very high-end desktop, which eliminates the customer to make that large investment if they were to go with a virtual desktop on-premise offering. By having the desktop as a service, we also eliminate having the customer depend on the IT or extensive IT that would have to have the know-how of how to set up the desktop as a service, which is quite different than setting up virtual servers. The initial expense, which in some instances can run into several $100,000 to provide the redundancy, the backup, the availability. We take care of all of that as we have already set up multiple infrastructures throughout the country to provide the service. The nice thing about this offering is that it allows the customer to specifically budget on a month-to-month all their IT expenses related to the desktop. There's no guessing on how much additional for licenses or additional hardware or additional client access licenses. All that, it's all included in the desktop as a service package that you will be able to offer. And that gives them the flexibility to access that virtual desktop from any device, from any location. We have had several users provide us feedback that they have been literally in remote areas with cell phone access where they have been able to access their corporate virtual desktop. Now, as part of the desktop as a service, there are several additional benefits that customers will be able to obtain from using a desktop as a service offering. Part of that are security, and if we can move to the next slide, please. Part of that is the security. Security is one of the largest concern customers have nowadays, especially with several breaches that we have heard in the last year. So having all of their corporate data in one location, very secure, it's one of the main focuses that customers are looking for today. Additionally, performance, where the desktop, the virtual desktop or the cloud desktop has to be equal or faster than a physical desktop so that the end user can have a acceptable, easy, fast desktop experience. It's one of the key factors of having a desktop as a service. Again, there's no upfront cost for the customer. There are several cost savings related to they don't have to acquire a expensive desktop. There's very economical thin clients that can be bundled in the offering, as well as the not only short-term cost savings, but also long-term cost savings. There are electricity cost savings that customers are able to gain, as well as the predictable costs. Everything is green. One of the biggest challenges that we have heard from customers is the bring your own device offering. And it's been very challenging for their IT department to actually support multiple devices. With the desktop as a service offering, it makes it extremely easy to be able to allow those multiple devices to access that desktop. And it's able to scale. We have multiple customers that have started with a small department within their entity and quickly see the benefits that they gain by using this desktop as a service and decided to move other departments into this offering. So it can scale very easily and quickly. Also, it makes it easier for the end user to consume the desktop as a service. That cloud desktop, because it's available from multiple or from any location as long as you have internet access, the flexibility for that user to continue to work, knowing that that desktop has the redundancy, the backup, the availability, and most importantly, the support right to the end user, that any issues the user may confront, it's a phone call away to have those issues addressed. Everything is centralized, including the support, the back-end infrastructure. We make it extremely easy for users to be able to be added to the subscription or to the service. We can scale up from one user all the way to thousands of users in just a few clicks from a simplified console. There's offering the desktop as a service will allow you to increase your portfolio. The customer retention is pretty high, mostly because several factors. One of them is the moving of all that data, the user profile, into a cloud, there's several things that makes that process very, very easy to do. Once the customers get used to that usability, the easiness of use of that cloud desktop, they will not want to let go. So the customers themselves will want to stay, and we've seen that where it becomes easier not only to have the cloud, the desktop in the cloud, but several other services will follow. It's common for this to open up the door to move not just a desktop, but other local services like Exchange or some of the other databases or servers that they may have on-premise. It opens the door to actually migrate those other services into the cloud. Once they're in the cloud, just the nature of moving things into the cloud, it is sticky to move away from the cloud. And it allows us to reach not only enterprise customers, but also the small and medium businesses that normally will not have the opportunity to have this type of service as an enterprise desktop offering for the small and medium businesses.
All right, Ivan, thank you. It looks like it's time for polling question number 2. And now that you've gotten a little bit of an introduction to desktop as a service, the next thing we want to find out is what is your current DaaS strategy? Do you already have a DaaS solution deployed and you're happy with it? Have you already put your toe in the DaaS arena but you're not happy with what you've done so far? Are you actively looking to get into the DaaS market and you're looking for a solution, or do you have no plans? So please take a moment to submit your vote, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the results here momentarily. Let's get everybody to participate here. That'll be fantastic. And once again, we are getting a few more questions coming in, so please keep those questions coming. We appreciate it, and we'll be answering all those at the end. We have about 4 or 5 questions already, Tony, so you'll be excited to hear that. And we'll give you guys just about 10 more seconds to vote. Okay, well, Tony, one thing I can tell you is that nobody on the call is using Nuvestack, because if they did, then the I'm using it and I'm happy would have scored highly. So you've got a bunch of people that are actively looking for a solution and another handful that are not. So looks like a pretty good market out there to go after. Let's go ahead and continue on.
Thanks, Nick. That's always a great thing. I wanted to reiterate again, sort of Ivan's point before the polling question. Why do you want to offer DaaS? Some of those points, we can't make light of. I mean, what I do here is travel the globe, really, talking to partners, talking to, sort of that next generation. What's the next step for a partner program or for the channel? And it's really about getting to what's out there tomorrow, getting ahead of the curve. Customers are looking for moving to something that's easier, something that's cutting edge, less expensive, and would really just empower you to bring your own device or work as freely as you can. If you're not currently offering something that's cloud-based and fully supported and able to be, sort of, for lack of a better word, transferable, then you're behind the times. We spend a lot of time with our partners, empowering them to do whatever's necessary to free their customers. And this is why we're here today. So let's make sure that we really focus on, why you want to offer that for your customers. And if you're not currently offering, much like the polling questions we're asking, reach out to us and we can help you get to that point. I want to talk a little bit about our partner program and what we offer you as one of our partners for your customers. First and foremost, we're very flexible with our partners. As I mentioned at the beginning of the call, if you are a current cloud hosting provider or a desktop, hosting provider, we assume that, you can take a lot of these same tasks just as you're doing today. Our ability to offer 100% of the support or the desktop offering, as well as offer half or 3/4, whatever's necessary, we're flexible to fit into your business structure today to make sure that this offering becomes your offering. Whether we're talking about a white label product or co-branding this DaaS solution, we can make our offering or our software your software. I mean, I'm here to be, your favorite DaaS provider's favorite DaaS provider, for lack of a better term. My motto is simple. If I can have better friends and more friends, we'll be successful in the market together. So reach out to us and let's talk about how we can integrate what we do into your current offering, and when that's applicable, let's go to market together. If we're talking about doing joint sales, joint marketing collateral, trade shows, anything like that, Nuvestack will walk in hand to hand with you. I understand that you've been in this market for a long time and you're successful at what you do and your customers love you, which is why we have made the decision to sell through you as our partners. The last thing I want to do is be in a position where I'm marketing against you or I'm marketing without knowledge that you're already marketing the same types of things. So let's go in together with joint sales and marketing collateral, joint marketing campaigns. Let me create a marketing campaign around what you typically do, and let's go to your customers together. If you aren't familiar with desktops as a service or a hosted model, let us help you with the the pre-sales training and support to make sure that when we walk in together, you're as confident as I am on how to position this product, how to talk about this product, and how to service your customers for our product. Our SKUs and configurations through Huawei have already been tried, tested, and true. If you are not currently a Huawei partner, obviously I can help you to facilitate that to make sure that you get the best pricing, the best the best support, and the most profitable procurement options for you if we're talking about setting up either your own private cloud or some level of a hybrid cloud. I can be your resource to our partners at Huawei for that, or vice versa. If you're a Huawei partner and you're not familiar with Nuvestack, our partners over at Huawei have done an amazing job bringing us into the fold and making sure that we create this ecosystem, if you will, of cloud providers and cloud partners. I mean, we are creating what will become the most friendly, the most competitive, but the most, the strongest cloud partnership available, and we want all of you a part of this, whether you're a Nuvestack partner being introduced to Huawei or you're a Huawei partner now being introduced to Nuvestack. What is the lift, so to speak, for you? It's very little. If you're an offering partner or you're a cloud provider and you're not familiar with how to set this thing up, or you're just starting out here, that's great. Nuvestack can come in and provision your data center stack for you. If you're just stepping your toe into this this market, we can help not only educate you on the best practices of how to do this, but also walk with you every step of the way to make sure that your data center stack, already pre-configured through Huawei, is set up for you. Now, if you're a cloud hosting partner, or if you already have your colo and you're already doing these types of things, great. We allow you to help us understand your best practices so that we can fit into what you're already doing into your preferred data center. As Ivan said it earlier in the call, we have a number of data centers strategically placed in regions of this country. But if if our data center isn't the right data center for you, then help consult with us as to where we would like to put your cloud stack or your offering. This is an open partnership, and we like to learn from our partners as well as sort of educate our partners to make sure that when we go into the market, we're going in hand to hand and everyone's on the exact same page. When we're looking to onboard your customers, we can provide 100% of the training for you. We also want to learn your business practically. You will have a dedicated account manager for you as our partner to understand exactly how you work and understand how your customers interface with you, and allow Nuvestack to fit into that program. Allow us to go to market with you as more of a partner, not a subordinate, or we're the vendor and you are our reseller type of a deal. I mean, you are our business development partner, and we intend to go to market with that strategy 100% of the way. We also want to allow you to offer whatever add-on products you are offering today from your existing portfolio. Our desktop, we understand, as I mentioned before, is only a piece of the puzzle. So upsell opportunities, the ability to add resources around us is the idea of, that's our strategy to make our customers more successful. I believe that once you have the desktop you'll have everything around that. Once you can interface with that customer, and that customer sitting in front of your desktop is happy, and they understand their ability to be mobile, to cut costs, and to go to the cloud where people want to go, there are a ton of upsell opportunities for you as our partner. Let us help you to capture those. Billing is done in a number of different ways, whichever one works best. Obviously, we have the ability to do 100% of the billing for our subscription model, but if you have a business model where you carry billing today for your customers, you can continue to carry your billing for the desktop as a service solution, and we can fit right into that structure. So if you're thinking about how does this fit into my finances or into my billing, again, Nuvestack is here to equip you and to empower you to work exactly the way you're doing. I mean, come in and join our program and let us help out with that. All the ongoing maintenance support, assuming you are not a support partner. If you're a support partner or if you're a managed service provider that you specialize in support, we'll hand those keys to you and we'll allow you to do the maintenance and support as well as bill for it. That's another upsell opportunity. If you don't, then great. Allow Nuvestack to become your maintenance and support arm for your desktops, your cloud-hosted desktops for your customers. So now this is another opportunity for you to add another service to your portfolio and say now, ABC company, it now offers a desktop as a service, fully staffed, fully supported, and you can allow Nuvestack to handle all your ongoing maintenance and support. So that we are ready to handle it all. We're ready to back off whatever necessary to help you become successful. We're not looking to be necessarily the face of the solution when they're your customers, but we are ready to support and speak on it as much as possible. So we want to be an easy partner to work with. We want to be your favorite partner to work with, and we want to make sure that you can now go to market with our joint solution and feel confident doing that. Nick?
Excellent. Well, Tony just did a really great job of running through all the highlights of the Nuvestack Partner Program, so I think that's a perfect segue into this final polling question, which is, what would you want most in a DaaS partner? Of all the stuff that is comprising a partner program, what's the thing that's most important to you and your business? Is it the ability to white label that solution and make it your own? Is it flexible support options that Tony was just discussing? Is it transparency and communication and offers coming from the vendor? Or is it just brand recognition? Go ahead and vote, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the results. Let's get everybody to get a quick vote in there, and we're heading towards the end here, so I do want to make one more request for questions. We already do have a nice handful, but anybody else has any other questions of the presenters, please go ahead and submit them now, and we'll be answering them in just a few minutes. And this is an interesting result, Tony, a little bit more balanced. We've got half the attendees are really thinking white labeling the offering is most important. About a third are really interested in the flexible support, and a smaller number are looking for the transparency and communication. So very useful data. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take us home.
Perfect. Thanks, Nick. And just one more point on that. The 50% of you all who are looking to white label offer your own desktop as a service product, that's fairly consistent with what I see every day, whether it's trade shows, calls. People want a solution. We're here to offer you the solution without having to invest, hundreds of thousands of dollars building the solution, manpower, time, and effort. We've already done the work for you. So if you want to white label it and create an offering or solution that becomes yours, you're at the right place, and we can help that. So again, just to wrap up, why partner with us? The cloud migration is easy. We work with you to onboard all of your customers into the platform. We make sure that everything is taken care of. You can take sort of the stress. We take the stress away from you, for your users. We include the entire support model in there, from the end user in front of the computer all the way back to the data center. We now become, your throat to choke if something goes wrong, and we stand behind all of our guarantees. So every level of support spanning, the admin all the way down to the end users are always taken care of. We're going to stand behind our guarantee of performance. We're going to make sure that your virtual desktops will always be fast from the first day you jump on, for years to come. Desktop 1 will be as fast as desktop 10,001 in your organization, and we're going to stand behind that and make sure that the performance for your end users will be exactly what we tell you will be, and will be exactly what your customers pay for. So understand these are some of the guarantees that we offer. And for you as a partner, which we can't forget, we're going to offer you a faster track to revenue. I mean, this is a partner-facing call. I want to meet new partners and take questions for how we can help you build your business, but allow our platform, to help you create a new revenue stream with a new service that you don't currently offer. Because if the cloud isn't at the forefront of your offerings, I honestly believe that we're behind. So, we appreciate your calls and your emails. We appreciate everybody for joining in. Some of you on the call I recognize. A lot of you I don't, which makes me happy. I'm here to make new friends, to gain new partnerships, and to help customers out there be successful, offering a solution that is where the market is headed. So, the quick and dirty of why you should partner with Huawei and Nuvestack and offer this. I think this slide really says it all. And I open it up for questions, but I thank you all for joining.
Excellent. Well, we do have a handful of questions, and Tony, you can provide air traffic control on whether these are most appropriate for you or Ivan. The first one is a pretty common one I've heard before, which is, how does the software licensing work with Nuvestack, including the standard apps that everybody uses like Office, and then even some of the specialty apps like CAD or other kind of more specific departmental type applications? How does that work?
Yes, the licensing for any Microsoft product, where any Microsoft product that can fall under our license reporting to Microsoft under the SPLA, all those licenses will already be covered. So that we're talking about the client access license for the operating system or for the user to be able to access the virtual desktop, as well as Office 365 or any of the other Microsoft Office products. Those will fall under the SPLA. So those would be reported, the Nuvestack would be the one reporting that to Microsoft. The initial package does include Office as part of the bundling. Any additional products like Projects or Visio, those can be added in at an additional cost. Non-Microsoft products like the Adobe Standard or AutoCAD, those can be, depending on the license agreement from the manufacturer, can be either added under the same reporting mechanism that Nuvestack provides, or if the customer already has purchased those licenses, like for example for QuickBooks, those licenses can be added. We virtualize the application. The user logs in for the first time, would be prompted to provide that license, and then a license is tied to that instance that the user is using of that application.
Excellent. I think that definitely answers that question very well. A couple questions have come up on this topic, so I'm going to kind of bundle them all into one question, but generally it's the topic of security, and generally how secure are hosted desktops, and are there any issues around the security model, especially in environments like whether it be financial, government, healthcare, where security is of the utmost concern?
Security is definitely one of the biggest topics that we focus on, and depending on the vertical, there may be different security requirements. If we're talking about PCI standards because you're running some credit card information or some type of financial information, those have a different security standards, and we're able to meet all those standards. If we're talking about the federal government, they also have different security standards, from multi-layer authentication to the level of encryption, not only from the endpoint device to the cloud desktop, but also from within the applications themselves. We do monitor all the processes 24/7, from authentication layer, from access or changes being done not only by the end user but also by the application. From the medical vertical, because of HIPAA, there's also different security standards that we are able to meet that follow those standards. So, for example, specific users having access only to certain data, and that data does not go outside of that cloud desktop. Some of those settings can be set. So, for example, the end user can be restricted to only accessing that virtual desktop from a specific device or from a range of devices that have been registered with us, as well as within that connecting device. So if we're talking about a thin client or even a Windows or a Mac, we can enable or disable allowing that user to transfer files from the cloud desktop to the local device. Most of the time, depending on the vertical that we're talking about, that feature is enabled for the standard user, but for certain verticals, that feature can be disabled.
Okay, that sounds good. Tony, this is always one of the most interesting questions from potential partners, and that is, what kind of margin can I expect in selling DaaS solutions to my customers?
Great question, Nick. So, depending on the type of partner that we are, and by type of partner meaning what level of offerings you're available. Obviously, all partnerships aren't created equal. There are some of our reseller partners versus value-added resellers versus fully managed service partnerships. Again, as I said at the beginning of the call, we are capable of doing 100% of that offer. And if we say that each piece is, say, 20% of a margin. If we do if we do 4 or 5, then there's 20% for you. Depending on what we back off or what you offer, obviously there's more margin. Our margins typically start at about 10 to 15% just for an offering partner, meaning a referral reseller kind of a service, and they can extend up to about 40 to 50% margin, depending on what you're offering for support or who's taking that first call. Who is the customer, the customer-facing portion? Is my team, interfacing with the customer, or are you interfacing with that customer? There are a number of different qualifications into the partnership program. But we start at about 10 or 15 points, and we can go up to about 40 to 45 points, depending on your experience in offering the solution and how much water you're willing to hold versus what we're holding.
Very flexible. I love it. So people don't have to be an expert to get into this. They can leverage you more or less. Okay, that's excellent. Here's a couple of questions that are kind of tied a little bit more on the technical side. One is, what's the minimum connection speed necessary to have good performance for the solution? And also, do you support multiple monitors?
So the minimal connection speed, we've done quite a bit of testing. The speed it's a trick question, because a lot of times you may end up having a very decent speed, 2-3 megs, for example. But if the latency it's not there, then the experience is not going to be there either. So if we're talking about, for example, a satellite connection that has north of 150 millisecond latency, then that's where you're not going to have a good experience. Now, as far as minimum speed, we've actually tested with 3G connection through a cell phone, and we're getting fabulous user experience. For the most part, you will need about 100K per user per second to have extremely satisfactory user experience. Anything below that, it really will depend on the usage of the desktop. If we're talking about a regular user, the regular, the work user that it's using or is doing normal email, Word, PowerPoint, browsing the web, then you will need less than the 100K per second. If we're talking about a user that is using AutoCAD, that is using a lot of streaming, then those are the users that will definitely need a lot more bandwidth. We're talking in anywhere between 5 to 10 megs, again, depending on what exactly that user is doing. Can you remember the second part of the question?
Yeah, it was about whether or not you support multiple monitor environments.
Yes, we do support up to 24 monitors in one single session. We can also restrict it to only 2 or 3, or depending on the requirement, we can scale it down to force it to only 1. But it's supported up to 24.
Excellent. Okay, great. Just a couple more questions. This one is, what is the difference between VDI and DaaS? Is there a difference, and if so, what is the difference?
The term VDI and DaaS, they're starting to become more of a gray area. Normally, initially when we're talking about VDI, we're talking about the customer actually acquiring all the hardware and having everything in-house, all the hypervisor licenses or the Microsoft licenses, everything related to actually virtualizing that desktop would be included in-house. Then there was a shift that started to take place where now even though the customer may own that, now they're shifting that to a data center provider or a cloud provider, but the customer still has that initial investment. They still own all the hardware. The next phase was where the cloud providers started to provide that initial capital expense, but the customer still ends up having to manage, support, and maintain that infrastructure. And that's what we're seeing today with several desktop as a service providers, where they're kind of right in between. The main difference with Nuvestack is that we don't require the customer to own the hardware or to own that support and the maintenance, the ongoing maintenance of that hardware, of that infrastructure. We take all of that headache away. So we do provide a full 100% desktop as a service.
Okay, great. And then the final question that we have is around printers, and if you can just comment about how shared printers are supported in DaaS environments and whether or not they can have multiple different printers and basically how that works.
That has been, I would say, the third biggest challenge that people confront in virtualizing the desktop is tying certain local resources. And one of those is obviously the printer. The solution we do have, or we include as part of the technology, does allow to have corporate sites identify the printers regardless of the type and model. It makes it easier to have those printers be under the Microsoft supported list. But even older printers can be configured to become a cloud printer. That allows the virtual desktop, regardless where that user may be accessing the virtual desktop from, be able to print to that corporate printer. Additionally, the technology does allow that if that user is accessing that virtual desktop from home and happens to have a home-based printer, that local printer from the user's home office would be dynamically offered to that user's virtual desktop. So that virtual desktop will have access to the local printer as well as any other printer that has been pre-configured to be a cloud printer. Some of that technology, depending on the number of printers we're talking about, as an on-premise printer, would require an additional device that acts as a downstream gateway for those printers.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's really good. That's all the questions that we received. If for more information on becoming a Nuvestack partner or a Huawei partner, you have email aliases and phone numbers here on the screen that you can take advantage of and call and be able to get help. As Tony mentioned, he'd love to speak with you. He's always looking to make new friends, and Huawei certainly feels the same way. On behalf of everybody at Huawei, I certainly want to give a huge thank you to Tony and Ivan both for participating and providing just a tremendous amount of knowledge and information around the desktop as a service environment. And I just want to know if either of you guys have any final comments before we close out.
Yeah, I do, Nick. Thank you. Again, to reiterate what Nick said, towards the end of this year, it's going to be a very strong push for new partnerships, new regions, new customers, new customer experiences. We're looking to really grow this thing. For anyone who has joined any of our webinars and websites web partnerships with Huawei, we're offering through the end of this year special deals for your customers, and that deal is a 3-month proof of concept free of charge, meaning absolutely no obligation moving forward. We really want to get new customers testing it, seeing it, within their environment, their platform, and they, any contracts that I can get through the end of the quarter for this year, we'll get it in, and you can drive it around, test it, use it for 3 months under contract with no charge. So it's really, we're trying to get rid of every obstacle that we can, for getting into this thing right now, and deciding if this is something they want to expand into for 2016. So if there's anything that you're thinking about in your mind right now for your customers, or if you're a customer on the call right now and you're thinking, hey, I want to do this, but let's not get hung up on the buts. Give me a call. Shoot me an email. Let's figure out how to work around that. Right now, our partnership with Huawei is extremely important, and proof of concepts and new partnerships under contract for us is extremely important. So let's reach out and figure out how we can work around that and bring new recurring revenue for you, as well as bring a new ease of use for your customers moving forward. So utilize us as your teammates, and let's go to market and tear this thing up.
Wow, that is incredibly compelling. No reason not to give it a try based on that offer. That's fantastic, Tony. Okay, well, again, thank you very much to the Nuvestack guys. Thank you to everybody in the audience. And this recording will be available on the Huawei Enterprise USA website. So if you missed it, or if you know some other friends that might be interested in checking it out, please send them the link. It should be available within 24 hours. Thanks again to everyone, and we'll see you very soon on another Huawei webinar. Have a great day.